And if they're up to no good, call them out. If they do good things, give them credit for that.
What? They really are friends. Like, what have they done for us?
I didn't feel it was divisive. I felt that he was literally calling out in front of everybody who the nefarious, fraudulent pieces of shit are, and they need to be called out.
That doesn't make any sense. Bring the men that are named in these files. I want to hear from them. Don't have women answering for the crimes of men. I want to hear from the fucking men and hold them to account.
It seems like the only alliance that he is fully in on is this Israel alliance.
The Unusual Whales insider trading stock, where it is just beautiful. You see red, blue, all the corporate insider trading. This is wow.
In 1983, she was 13 years old. She told the FBI that Epstein introduced her to Trump. Trump forced her head to his exposed penis. She bit the penis. He punched her, and then that was that. Hi, everybody. This is John, back with Real Veteran News. This is Real Veteran News 52. We're here on the morning of the Iran strikes that we all woke up to this morning. And we're here with three good friends, three military veterans. We've got Marie Ballerini Hunyon, Shane Stevens, and Robin Biro. All right. So before we get started, why don't you guys introduce yourself in that order, please?
Hi. John, thanks for having me. It's great to be back. Missed podcasting with you, but I've been recording audibles for a friend of mine. So The Gardener, Daniel Arndt here, or Localized Collapse. Just finished that one, but hasn't been uploaded yet. But I'm excited. Yeah, it's one heck of a morning to wake up on and find out that we're podcasting and this is going on. And well, all right, we're winging it. And that's what I do best. So, okay. Yep. Over to you, Shane.
Love it, Marie. Yeah, just to piggyback off that, what a heck of a morning to wake up to. These are some unprecedented events that are unfolding right before our eyes. I'm Shane, former Navy intel guy. Now I'm just working as cybersecurity consultants. Live here at SmackCab in DC, and just kind of living this with everyone else. And so happy to chat about it and get you guys thoughts on this.
All right, that leaves me. I'm Robin Biro, and I served in regiment with John, Ranger Regiment, did 10 years ultimately in the military. And yeah, I'm also winging it, but let's do this. We operate best that way.
Shane mentioned the Navy. Marie was in the Army. Robin was in the Army, also in the Rangers, same time I was. We were just talking about that. All right, so we can get started here. The topics today are the Iran attacks, or Iran whatever action. We're going to talk about State of the Union, which feels like a while ago, but that happened on Tuesday night. And then at the end, we'll talk about the Epstein documents, the 50 pages that are missing from the Epstein documents that everyone's been talking about. Let's start talking about Iran. This is a lot. So just to organize it, I'd like to start off by talking about how we got here leading up to this whole situation. Then we talk about kind of what has happened last couple weeks, negotiations, stuff like that, the attacks today, and then what happens next, and what we think the outcomes will be after that. I'll start out just a little bit, just characterizing the whole thing right now. So we know that they've been negotiating with Iran over the last couple weeks or whatever. The military forces have been gathering. Everybody pretty much knew that Trump was going to do this. It seems like he was waiting for the Olympics to finish, and he doesn't like to do stuff like this during the week because he doesn't want to spook the markets. So he does this on the weekend, gives everybody some time to digest so that hopefully the stock market doesn't go haywire on Monday. Looking at the polls, the use of foreign military force against foreign powers by Trump so far is pretty unpopular, and it's probable that a lot of this is designed to distract from the Epstein stuff, which is happening concurrently with this. We attacked jointly with Israel, apparently, and it seems that Israelis have basically decided they don't want to breathe the same air as these Iranians. They've noticed, or they realize, that this time now with Trump is their chance to really take out their main enemy, because they've already kind of dealt with the Arabs. They're full court press. Trump's down to go, and it seems like they're pushing for some kind of long-lasting change in Iranian politics. So, starting off to talk about how we got here, I know that Marie lived in the Middle East for a while. She's got a lot of Middle Eastern friends and some insight. So, why don't we start with what Marie thinks?
I don't know what to think right now. I mean, I have some friends from Iran, and what the media is not playing for you is the suffering and the tens of thousands that have been killed in the last couple weeks because they don't support the current regime. Trump says that a regime change is necessary. And then I'm, hung up on we're not the world's police, for crying out loud. But at the same time, why did we leave them billions of dollars, pallets of cash right before Obama left office? The uranium, Kerry's daughter is married to an Iranian. There's so many factors that have been going into this for many, many decades. And I'm tired of it, but I love my friends and I love the people there. And the people are not crazy terrorists. Even, wearing my GWAT shirt today. And this could happen in America too. It could happen in your backyard. It's going to happen in our backyard. It's going to. The cells are here. We need to stop worrying about them, everyone else around the world, and we need to focus on what's happening here. That could lead into the ICE and the immigration, and I won't do that because, I don't want your channel to get canceled. So
Again, thank you.
Again. Marie, what you do?
RVN episode 1, Recock. Anyway.
And who is right?
All the medical advice was right. Okay, cool. All right, just before we go on to the next, Marie, it sounds like you're a little torn between supporting what Trump says and your aversion to military activism, this like interventionism. How do you characterize that?
Well, we don't want Iran to have the power that they want to have because they are the prime real estate in the Middle East. Well, the Shia and the Sunnis and the history there, there's just so many facets that I can't focus on just one because it's a clusterfuck of a shit show over there. They have so much oil and they think that it's limitless, bottomless, and they throw money at everything.
Let me put it this way: do you agree with Trump attacking Iran? Yes or no?
In part. If he actually did hit the building of the Khomeini, if he actually did hit the building, and that's supposedly what has happened, that's a wonderful thing because the regime does need to be changed. But who else is going to go in there? We saw Hamas, which the people of Palestine wanted to represent their body. How are we just going to pick and choose who are going to go in here? I mean, I see we did that in Ukraine too, but is that what's going to happen here as well? Are we handpicking these people? Are they going to be duly elected by the Iranians?
All right, you seem very conflicted.
I am very conflicted. I am.
I think Marie is rightly so in holding conflicting thoughts that are in contrast with each other. I have the same. On the one hand, I have absolutely no sympathy for that brutal, monstrous regime that they've been held in power for several decades now. They have killed hundreds of American personnel. They have attacked us worldwide countless times, thousands. How many IEDs, how many blown off limbs, how many people coming home to the terrors that they have done over the past several decades. I have absolutely zero sympathy for what happens to them. If Khomeini is dead, so be it. And I hope that regime falls, and I hope a much more prosperous and democratized institution comes out from that. And I wish nothing but the best for the Iranian people. And I hope everything goes swimmingly and well for them many down the road. That's one thought, right? Like, absolutely, I don't care. And at the same time, the thought process of us being the world's police, we have the same problems as normal policemen do. In that, if there's a situation going off somewhere around the world, that is none of our business, none of that, but we hear, help, 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 for the love of God, please help. We need the international order to do something. We need the shining light. We need someone brave who will stand up to evil to do that. Who do they mean? They mean us, right? Always send in the police. So the police goes, right? And they go in to interject. They try to see the situation, and they try to do what they think is best to neutralize that situation. All of a sudden, the brother saw us intervene. No, now policeman, bad, you guys, you warmongering, colonial interventionists, you're up to it again. How dare you look at this quagmire going off? And we're like, okay. So it's either the thought value of we go in, we help, we free the people who's been under this brutal regime for 4 decades, and even the local population overwhelmingly wanted to, be overthrown. And at the same time, we're going to get condemned for this action, right? We're going to create a 2006 Iraq, Baghdad quagmire, and it's going to suck American resources out. And we really need to focus our stuff on China. Those are the two conflicting ideas that I have. Do I think it's a good thing? I think so, right? It's a brutal dictator. It's like if we took out Kim Jong-un, I wouldn't feel bad. But the ramifications for that afterwards, we need to seriously think about it.
Let me ask you one question, Shane. This is jumping ahead, but given your analysis, what do you think the percent chances are that the regime in Iran changes because of what happened today? Or
I think it's extremely high, at least to the poly markets, right? That the stock, the markets are always the best predictor, right?
All right?
Yeah. So if you go look at poly market as of today, it's at 48%. By March 31st, it's at 73%. That take it for how you want to, but as right now, it seems like we may be in unprecedented times.
The chances are obviously going to go up after we bomb them, but in the real world,
they just said that Khomeini was liquidated. I don't know if that's true. I'm seeing that on the internet. I have no idea, right? Need to verify, but that's what I'm seeing as of right now.
Mashallah.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know if he's dead or alive. Whatever. Anyway, all right, Robin, we'd like to hear what you have to say.
I'm generally opposed to this. I pray the best for the people of Iran, but we've never done too well trying to affect regime change elsewhere. I don't know how this is going to be any different. I'm just worried. My main concern is that we're entering into another 20-year conflict, but I think he wants to have a military parade, before the midterms. Another military parade before the midterms. Remember a few months ago when he sort of jokingly said to Zelensky that they could cancel the midterms if they went to war? Well, here we are. So I'm kind of worried about the midterms. I don't know how that would happen necessarily, what that would look like, but he sort of always signals what he's going to do before he does it. As a Democrat, that kind of makes me nervous. I don't want civil unrest. I don't want everyone in my party going crazy. Let's just pray. I will say this, anecdotally, I have a friend of mine, a buddy, combat medic, fully disabled. His son is currently staying with me before he heads to basic training. So we've been going to the gym and working out and everything. He is stoked, y'all. He's like, yes, let's do this. He's here. You'll see him walking behind me. He's ready to go. So I can imagine those people, in training are all set. And I'm not going to lie, like a little part of me as a veteran is a little bit jealous, like, oh man, they get to go and do this thing. But at the same time, I'm nervous that, we just haven't done that well affecting regime change elsewhere. And please, let's not enter into another 20-year conflict. Those are my thoughts in a nutshell.
I think if you're struggling to understand the situation in the Middle East right now, the easiest way to kind of like reframe what you're thinking is that Israel is an American colony, essentially. And it started off as like a British American colony. But as the British, after World War II, lost their empire, they took a step back. They don't have the money. They don't have the power. And we essentially took it over. And over decades and decades and decades, the Israelis have realigned their strategy towards integrating and aligning themselves with the United States and to making themselves, they're essentially like the 51st state. To this point, they've essentially gotten serious control of our media. They've gotten serious control of major organizations, corporations. They've gotten control of politicians. A lot of that has broken in recent because of social media. This, Free Palestine, this, the Gaza stuff has really broken through with a lot of the younger people. But a lot of middle-aged and older Americans are still seeing Israel as like the victim, still seeing the United States as us being allies. And I think Trump is approaching it with a very 20th century mindset with his use of power and his use of alignments. It seems like the only country, the only alliance that he is fully in on is this Israel alliance. I don't know why exactly. I really don't. I mean, I could speculate, but I don't know why Trump is like so pro-Israel. Why do you think the Iranians want a nuclear weapon so bad? Like, they will not stop for a nuclear weapon because Israel has them. And we act like Israel doesn't have them, but like Iranians can't have a weapon. Well, the Israelis have a weapon. I mean, that is what is causing the Iranians to want a nuclear weapon. You know what I mean? Just to sum up, I'm just like personally against other countries. And I don't really even see Israel as a country, other outside actors, but other countries, just like the British did in World War II with us, manipulating us into war on their side. I mean, that is like the way you win wars in the 20th century, even the 21st century, is you get the Americans to fight for you.
It's not just Israel, right? I forgot the old saying, but everyone spies on everyone. They're supplying the money to whoever they're, is going to vote in their favor, and to try to align with Israel's best interest. That's pretty much standard best practices. China has the same thing. Europe has the same thing. All countries are doing pretty much those activities in all elections, right? And to not think that's not happening everywhere all at once, I got some ocean front property in Arizona to sell you. So it is absolutely true that Israel is doing their thing, right, in their own best interest. And we're doing our own thing in our own best interest. So the other countries are doing the same thing, right? When it comes to corporate lobbyists shelling out for another nation state, I think China is probably one of the biggest threat actors there. But comes back to Israel that, I think we absolutely need to consolidate power because it's one of the most bipartisan things that I'd like to highlight is the unusual Wales insider trading stock, where it is just beautiful. You see red, blue, all the corporate insider trading in Congress. It is wow. Second, with AIPAC, they've had the Dems and the Republicans for decades, right? Going back to, this goes back to the Soviet days, right? Of why were we intervening with the Shah? Why were we intervening to do that? It's because the USSR was doing the same thing. And we're doing the chess game, back and forth, back and forth. Was it right? Sure, right? That's for historians and for us to maybe hash out, right? But it happened because of what other activities and adversaries were going for. So now, John, we have a nuclear aircraft carrier parked outside of Bandar Abbas. We've possibly wiped out the Iranian leadership, and we have multiple countries being under attack right now. This is just an evolution. I don't think there's any kind of like single point of failure, single administration, single individual, single Israeli president or whatever. This is just something that when we look back, we have to get control of the lobbying and interests of other nation state actors into our own congressional stuff. That goes back to overturning maybe the 2004, the SCOTUS ruling, but that basically allowed billionaires to get into Congress, into the CPACs, and to start raising funds for them and then influencing kind of like the quagmire that we're in now. Hopefully we can address that, and that will be honestly the only way to get out of this. But until then, I would just like to make it known that all the nefarious activities or lobbying and advocating on behalf of a nation state for their political interests or for whatever happens everywhere all the time. No one is innocent in this at all. So it's just for the context, right? So take that for what it is. And I'm not a defender of any, I love Israel, right? And that's my saving Christian nation state. Like, I don't care. I give a shit about the United States of America. But I'm pragmatic about who are our friends, who's our interests, who are our partners. And if they're up to no good, call them out. If they do good things, give them credit for that as well.
They really are friends. Like, what have they done for us? What have they done for us?
They are by far our closest military ally that we have, even over the Five Eyes that we have.
I mean, that's just a symptom of them infiltrating us. Like, they don't do anything for us. Everything is for them. How many billions do we send them? Like,
correct.
And they draw us into all this
but
stuff.
We also, why do we send them billions of dollars? It's probably because
18 billion a year.
It's in our own best interest to spend that little bit of money so that it can promote American democracy and capitalism throughout the world. That is generally what you're going to hear of, like, why are we spending money in Israel? It's just generally that, and AIPAC doing the lobbying, right? And
for
that
democracy.
Kind of back and forth.
We're sending them guns and bullets and bombs for democracy. It's about controlling the Holy Land. It's so that old Jews and old Christians can go to the Jerusalem and they can walk around freely, and so the Muslims don't control it. I mean, that's why.
Well, that's what
they don't want the Muslims to control Jerusalem, and so the Jews are willing to stand there, and we aren't.
That's what Huckabee believes, and so it's again holding contrasting views on this, right? Of American imperialism. When you got Huckabee saying from the Levant, from the river to the sea, that's all of the Levants pretty much. And it's something that, not a big fan of trying to take over power. But again, I don't have any sympathy for this insanely brutal regime that they have. So
All right, let's get Robin going.
Yeah, I want to hop in there just to speak about sort of the politics of some of this. Right now, this was done without congressional authority, which is fine. But if it goes beyond 30 days, they will be required to get congressional approval. My friend base in my personal life is kind of mixed, like 50-50. So some Republican friends are upset because they said they voted for a non-interventionist president who wasn't going to start any new wars. I'm not sure how they reconcile that headed toward the midterms. I've also seen some Democratic friends saying that this needed to happen. So in the end, it may balance out. I'll be curious to see what position Congress does take if it goes beyond the 30 days. What do you guys think about that?
30 days in a hole. Oh, no, it's not going to stop within 30 days. There's a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces. Once again, Israel stands the most to gain with the regime change. It's going to be a big war. It's going to last a couple years. I feel it in my bones. It could be 6 months. It's not going to be 30 days. It's all to benefit Israel. It's not for stabilization in the area. It's stabilization for Israel is what it is. Jordan is our ally. Syria kind of is our ally. It depends on who's in office in America. For Bashir to be a nice guy and Erdogan to be a nice guy. It really depends on what are you going to give to me. That's what it is in the end. To touch on what you were saying, Shane, in regard to you said you mentioned the historical, and I'm thinking, bankers. I'm thinking, who writes the history books? Those are facts. Then that will lead us into the Epstein portion of this.
Oh, there we go. Nice segue. Nice segue.
And I love it.
That's the reality. That is the reality. And it's been happening since the Titanic.
Since the beginning of mankind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like, for men with money will absolutely take advantage of any position, especially the billionaires and the Epstein stuff.
Absolutely.
That is right?
But
it's like that stuff, those shenanigans have been happening pretty much since the dawn of time.
Yeah, since the
right? And you got to call them out then, as you call it out now, saying like that's not okay to do those nefarious actions.
Yep.
There's been powerful men that haven't been horrible, like Marcus Aurelius in the Roman Empire. There have been men who've accumulated money and power and have been like good people. They're not fucking children. They're not
King Solomon, King David, them as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
absolutely
go
a handful of examples, but most examples are rich men doing bad stuff, like 99% throughout 99% of human history.
Yeah, the last century in and of itself should be enough, but those who write history is who's going to tell, or those who win are the ones who write the history books, and we don't know. I mean, when you went to school, did you learn about the Bolshevik Revolution? Did you learn about that? Maybe they touched on it a little bit. That's something
the Red and White War, like 2 sentences.
You don't know about this unless you go and investigate it. But this is something that should be taught, but we can't teach about religion and why people were killed because of their religion or whatever side of the aisle you're on, or you're not even on a side of the aisle. You just like the gold. I don't, it's,
Okay.
you
All right.
make the bed, you sleep in the bed you make. Sorry, I know you can edit this.
Okay. We're not editing any of Marie's crazy shit. Right? People are watching Real Vendor News to hear Marie's crazy shit. Okay, so it's all.
I love it. So I gotta say, step it up and bring more crazy from the left. Okay,
I've been trying to
burn it all down.
I've been trying to goad you into.
I'll do it. I'll play my role.
Liberal,
I'll play my role.
Everything.
Hey, I came out against this, but I'll do better.
Yeah, Anyway,
protest,
cool.
Take to the streets, lefties.
Yeah, exactly. Let's rise up. Okay. Just to finish this, we spent a lot of time on it, but we got to do what happens next. I'll go first, just real quick, and the rest of y'all. I personally don't think this changes that much. I don't think that we can move them out. They're very powerful on the ground. Look, we're in the air, they're on the ground. On the ground matters, right? And the final thing too is it's just like in 1979 when the Shah falls, you have democratic forces, you have crazy religious forces that work together in order to remove the Shah. But once the Shah is gone, they go at each other and all the democracy people are just going to go to Switzerland. They're not going to stay and fight. The religious people are crazy. They will stay, and nothing's changed about that. Like, these democratic people are not going to fight to the death on it.
It is a very Christian nation. Yeah. Yes. There are a lot of Christians up there in Iran. Yes, there are.
Okay, well, maybe it fragments or something, but okay.
That's fragment. I mean, it was Mesopotamia and it was Persia, and they were a very Christian nation then. And it was in the last 20 years that things have been altered significantly because of the regime.
I think it's going to go, and I could be wrong, right? So I'll guess I'm shooting from the hip, that when the Ayatollah is confirmed dead, that there will be a internal struggle. There will be an internal power vacuum, and that the Shah's son, what's his nuts name, is going to try to come in there and take some type of temporary presidential power, and then try to say, I'm going to hand this off to the people, have an election to elect the next leader of the country. I hope that would happen. And then they would move forward as a prosperous country. What will probably most likely happen? Well, there'll be an internal violent struggle there for several years, possibly, right? And in the end, John, to your point, like, it probably won't really matter because, yeah, Iran has 90 million people, but in the grand scheme of things, they're barely producing, 3% of the world's oil. Even the Straits of Hormuz, that 20% of the world's oil that comes through, like, we're pumping out so much oil, it really wouldn't even affect us that much. So I think there's going to be a lot of internal turmoil for several years until eventually some type of elected leader does get elected. And then Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Middle East will try to work with them moving forward. Whether that's a violent or a peaceful thing, I don't know. But in the essence, I think that's what's going to happen. So nothing big. Really, all the world global stuff is still over in Southeast Asia.
I don't know that this changes much. I agree with you, John. Obviously, the entire world is watching us. And I did see video of some Iranian high school students cheering this on. It's interesting from their boots on the ground perspective of the citizens themselves, how they're taking this. I thought it was interesting, the president's tweet, because it was a tweet. I rarely see him ever use Twitter, but he actually did for this. He said, shelter in place indoors because we're going to be bombing the holy crap out of you. So, and they should be glad about it, basically. So
he cares about us so much. He wants to stay indoors.
Right. Yeah. So,
when I was in high school and the OJ verdict came out, we were all like cheering. Like, teenagers don't know anything.
They don't know anything. Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
But it was interesting when he said, basically, stay indoors, we're going to be bombing the crap out of you and you're going to be grateful. So, and then, you have a limited window of opportunity to install a new government. And, I'm just thinking about what happened in Afghanistan with that when we pulled out. So
what's going to happen in Gaza?
Hoping for the best with that, but I don't know. I'm nervous.
Marie, what's up?
Let's see. Do you want the conspiracy one?
Yeah,
yes, give us that. I want that.
Yes,
that's more exciting.
Okay. Right. What is it that Iran could possibly have comparable to what Iraq possibly had when we invaded Iraq?
At oil? Is that what you're saying?
WMD?
Is it the oil?
Or is it WMDs?
I think monuments men. What is it that they have? Because, I've heard some stories that there was some stuff like Gilgamesh materials that the Clintons are trying to get.
Oh, now we're talking. If you're talking pyramids and aliens, I am all in on that.
It's possible. It's possible. If God created this world, why wouldn't he create any others? I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. I'm just wondering, what is it that Iran has that is such a pull for Israel to, just Israel? I know there's other nations that don't like Iran in the area. What is it that they could possibly have that we or Israel could benefit from? That's what my curiosity is leading me.
I mean, Israel wants the land in Israel. Like, they want the West Bank. They want...
Yeah.
They want
they ain't going to get it.
They want Gaza Strip. They want everything.
From the Euphrates to the Jordan River or Jordan Sea, right? That's the whole...
They'll take whatever you give them.
Jordan might get tired of it. Syria might get tired of it. Lebanon might get tired of it.
When Tucker Carlson interviewed Huckabee, he was like, you mean this whole damn map? And he was like, well... And I was like, oh, I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, no kidding. I think it's about aliens. No, I'm kidding. They're hiding aliens, and we're going to, release them, free them.
All right, we got to stop. We've done a lot on Iran. We got to go to the State of the Union.
Okay, let's do it. Actually, can you give me a broment? This
A
repairman.
broment? Sure, you can
Yeah,
have a broment.
a broment. Yeah, this repairman needs me to go pay for something. I'll be right back.
Okay, sure. We'll start without you if that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Go right ahead.
Robin needs a broment. I will not start on State of the Union. I'll just say long. I think we saw it or saw highlights. It was 1 hour, 47 minutes. Trump going into it on a Washington Post ABC poll had 60% disapproval among the general population, 58% disapproval among voters. I got my notes on it, but I'll let someone else go first. Who would like to go first?
Very divisive speech. Obviously, he went after Ilhan Omar. He went after a lot of the corrupt stuff they're doing with the Medicare and Medicaid, which, rightfully so. In his prime, that's who he loves to be. Right? He gave out a ton of medals, right? And a ton of awards to everyone. And he loves doing that. Trump loves just talking about how great other people are and how great America is. That was his thing, right? He can do that all day, every day, just handing out medals and high-fiving and all that fun stuff. As far as overall, I thought it was an okay speech. I don't like the divide. It's really just grandstanding. The State of the Union really is just a one party. Biden did it just as equally terrible. I don't like it. It's not unifying. It's not for either party anymore. That's why even some of the SCOTUS judges don't even show up. They're just kind of not really. It's just a campaign. So it's just calling out some of the space. Some of the stuff he said was correct. Absolutely correct.
I think the SCOTUS judges didn't show up because he called them all types of names because of the tariffs thing.
Yeah.
No, they were there. Yeah, they were there.
Some of them were.
Okay.
But it's funny because when people say we've never been this more divisive, this country's ready to rip itself apart, there's civil war in the custom. Dudes used to shoot each other in the 1800s. They used to have gun battles in Congress. You know what I'm saying? And they used to beat each other to death. We used to have tanks rolling down 14th Street here in DC. We had a war, right? We had a war. All right. Right now, our president is tweeting at someone. He's holding the State of the Union, even I don't agree with, right? So when people say this is the most divisive XYZ of this Congress, that's not even close, guys. We're all just living in our own bubble. We're all just yelling at each other. We're all in our own echo chamber thinking the world is about to murder each other. But really, if you unplug for all of a couple of days, you find out everything's just going to be just fine. Coming back to the State of the Union, I didn't like it because it wasn't unifying. POTUS needs to bring the country together. I get what he did, what he had to do. He's not the only one to use it just to say me, my, I. I hate that shit. He is the narcissist to end all narcissists. But that doesn't mean that the Biden admin wasn't equally as bad, or the Bush, or the Clintons, or the Ray, all of them, right? They're all just super narcissistic. Me, my. It was very divisive. I don't like it. I want our POTUS to unite. So yeah, we have a lot of shit that we don't have in common, but 80% of the people agree on 80% of the things. It's just the loudest 10% on the left and the right that makes the most noise, and here we are for that.
Mm-hmm.
Marie, did you watch it?
I watched a majority of it, and I got the exact same thing. I didn't feel it was divisive. I felt that he was literally calling out in front of everybody who the nefarious, fraudulent pieces of shit are, and they need to be called out. Jayapal and Ilhan Omar, who marries her freaking brother to get him citizenship. Hello, you're breaking the laws. And you are a representative of a failed state, a greatly failed state.
Are you talking about Somalia or Minnesota?
Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. But, that could have been America had you voted for the governor of that state. Could have been America. Communism good. Fascism good. Because
do you have any points on what he talked about in the speech?
No, it's all the stuff that I was hoping that he would talk about. There are people that need to be congratulated for the work that they did in the past and current. That the pilot getting the Congressional Medal of Honor was fantastic, and I thought that was the absolute best venue to award him something like that. I really like that part. I like the medals and stuff. So the calling out those who need to be called out, whether positive or negative, I think that is the right venue to do it. It shouldn't be about divisiveness. It should be that the president is we're acknowledging, or the president is acknowledging that he has heard us in some things. I wish he would have said more about Epstein, but he's got a lot of friends that are on that list. So how much are we really going to learn? Who's Never mind.
Okay. So,
Don't censor yourself. I want to hear that.
we got Robin back from his bromance.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to go last, but I do want to. The Ilhan Omar brother thing gets brought up a lot by right wing people, and Matt made fun of it last week. And at a level, it is funny. I don't think she fucked her brother.
No.
Any sane person doesn't think that.
She broke the law.
Oh, okay. A lot of people break the law doing a lot of things, but
representative.
Now, if you like release your frame, because everyone has their own frame, right? She's a young Somali woman. She doesn't think she's going to get involved in politics. I don't know how she got here in the first place.
She's a refugee.
Let me make my argument.
And got millions now. Go ahead.
Yeah, she's a refugee. She got here one way or another. I'm not an expert on her. I don't know how she got here, but she got status here. Whatever that happens. You're a young woman. You got to America. Like, realistically, you made it out of Somalia, which is like a terrible place. Who knows what the place was like when she was coming from. Her family, her brother is trying to come to. Maybe he might die, or his life is going to be dog shit, or whatever. Like, this is her brother. And there's an avenue as her having gotten her status. I understand we're Americans and all this and that, but from just like thinking about it, putting yourself in her shoes from a moral standpoint, are you going to go to your brother and be like, I will not help you, die in Somalia, get butt raped by the warlord, or, have your head cut off, or whatever they do to people there? Or I will break a minor rule. I don't even know if it's a law or whatever, but like a minor rule, fill out some forms, do what I have to do as your sister. Maybe it's her older brother that protected her when she was a young girl, whatever. I mean, like, a lot of people would do this for their family. Okay, you wouldn't, whatever. But I mean,
you're becoming a representative, and you're going to lie on a federal form when you're bringing somebody over for immigration. But you have the right to be a representative because, I lied just to save my brother. I could lie to save my brother and say that, I saw somebody else bury the body, but it really wasn't.
How many forms has Trump lied on? Do you think in his life, in his long fucking life? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if she did it, she didn't really hurt anyone. She did it for family. I don't like her. I don't like her in general. I don't like her attitude. I don't like her politics in general. But I'm just saying, if you put herself in her frame, like, I could see why somebody would do that, especially when you're young and you're just like trying to survive. She's trying to save her family. In her mind, she's the hero. You know what I mean? She's saving her brother from this Somali shit. You know what I mean? And like,
how old was she when this happened?
Bringing that Somali shit here, all the fraud, the Leering Center. Have you heard about the Leering Center? Because that's important.
We all know about
would this be able to get done? How would we be able to get all this done without having people on the inside to say, don't look at this, don't look at this, don't look at this, let this pass. I will sign this. I am waiting for this. And then I will give this to you. And look at all these places who are like, slam the door in the face. Sorry, you can't come in here. This is a Leering Center. You cannot come in here. No. You're telling me that I am forced to pay tens of thousands in taxes every single year so that I can be forced to pay for these Leering Centers that do not exist. That your mother can say, I'm taking care of my sister's children, who she has 10 children, and my sister, whose children I'm taking care of, can take care of my 10 children. And you know what? We have a Leering Center, and then we have millions of dollars from the taxpayers that we don't have to give back.
We all know the story, Marie, but like, if you're upset about that fraud, I have got something very shocking to tell you, is that there's a lot of other fraud from the fucking DOD and the CIA. There's fraud everywhere, okay?
But this is what we can
everybody's
do,
lining their
because
pockets
the American citizens can. Exactly. But it's the American citizens who are going out there and doing the goddamn research and reporting, as journalists are supposed to be doing. They're not getting paid under the table by MSNBC and the DNC and CNN, the Communist News Network, or the Clinton News Network. It depends on which side of the aisle you want to really be on. BBC, Politico, NPR, they are all bought and paid for. You're paying attention to that, right? And the reason why is because they will report and narrate exactly what it is. You've seen the videos of they're all repeating the same words verbatim, right? Verbatim. And all 20 screens are up there, and you're hearing the exact same words of the narrative that you are allowed to put out as our media.
Yeah, it's the news.
But it
Like,
is
it's
that they're bought and
news.
paid for. But we need real people to go out there and report what's actually happening, because nobody knows that these things are happening. It's not just Somalia. It's happening in Detroit. It's happening in New York. I mean, Mandami in New York. Oh my God, come on, you're kidding me. But
All right,
hey,
let's get back to the State of the Union, okay? We want Robin. We didn't
Yeah,
get
I'll
to the
jump
State
in.
of the Union. All right,
I'll jump
State of the
in.
Union.
So I watched it with Matthew, a family friend who's going off to basic training, and it was interesting to share that with him. There were some high points. I didn't have any problem, of course, with the Medal of Honor recipients getting awarded. I saw some people in our Ranger forum saying that he jumped what would be typically an 18-month minimum period. Look, I don't care. He's at the end of the day still the ultimate signing authority on Medals of Honor. I liked that moment. I liked that the Olympians came out and it felt like a pep rally, basically. What I didn't like was the partisan attacks that the president launched at Democrats. I don't think we need that right now. We're divided enough as we are in our communities. We've got to do something, man, to transcend some of this. Maybe war in Iran will be it, but I really didn't appreciate the partisan attacks. I don't appreciate him calling half of the United States basically crazy and every half of the people in the chamber crazy. Ilhan Omar, she's been a citizen longer than Melania Trump is. I really do think the attacks on her are biased because she wears
right.
a headdress thing. I mean, like, come on,
Yeah.
it
She's
seems
got
to be
attitude, too.
she
got a
does
very
have
strong
she does have
attitude.
a really bad attitude,
She's
and look, we saw when that person sprayed what turned out to be, what was it, red wine vinegar on her, and I thought she was gonna like rip him to shreds, dude. So she's yeah, woo, yeah. No, I tell you, I was like, oh my god, like I had to hold her back. But that was so weird. That was a strange thing. It was red wine vinegar, I believe, that they sprayed on her, and they were making such a big deal about like, oh my god, you got to go to the hospital, get this checked out. I was like, you'd be able to tell if that was red wine vinegar right away. But anyways, it was a good, for the most part, like it was okay. It was the longest State of the Union in history. I don't think it needed to be that long. He stayed on script. He clearly read from the teleprompter and got a lot of accolades from my friends on the right for not going unhinged and off script. I don't think it was one of the greatest speeches of our history. I saw some of my friends saying that it was like, Lincoln's speech. I don't think it's going to go down in history as one of those, but he did stay on script. I just didn't appreciate that it's as partisan as it was. I remember in my youth, these were more like pep rallies and more like USA, USA, USA. This is what we've done as a country. This is what we're doing. We can all be proud Americans, and I'm here to represent all of you. This is not just the ones who voted for me kind of thing. I'd like to hear more of that.
Great minds think alike, because while you were out, right, dealing with that, you didn't even hear our convo, and we had
No.
basically the same exact thought process. Was that
Okay, good. That's good to hear.
Unifying
Then,
stuff.
objectively,
We were not a big fan of the divisiveness. He made some good points, but overall,
Yeah.
we want this to be coming together. So yeah,
bro. Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. I got sidetracked on Ilhan Omar, whatever, all that. But I'll just make a quick point. Like, I do think he looked pretty good. I mean, he's an old man. He's still got his mojo, whatever. I don't know if he took a nap or something, or he basically just saying what he was always saying. It's organized a little bit better. He's got speechwriter. It's choreographed a bit. I think it's a very strong format for him because he's got the captive audience. He's got all the Democrats sitting there. He can say whatever he wants to them and infuriate them. Like, honestly, if I was the Democrats, like, I would just say, like, none of them go to it. Like, let him talk to his people and they can all get up and clap. I mean, the whole, like, getting up and clapping like SEALs, not Navy SEAls, but like
it's both sides do it
SEAls.
though.
Both
sides like SEAls.
Oh, get up and
Just
slap your
when
flippers
Obama
together.
was doing the same thing, they were clapping just as hard.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
he
I
was
get
just
it,
as
but it's
divisive.
like, it's like you get the half, and it's.
I know, it's dumb. It's dumb. You're right. It is club sealing, rah rah. It is a campaign. It's not a unifying America thing on both ends, and it sucks that it's that way.
I hate that. I hate
I
that
have
it's
a lot of
gotten to
notes
that.
on
hate it.
points from it, but we're running out of time, so I'll just mention insider trading. He said, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, "Oh, we got to pass the no congressional insider trading." He didn't say anything about president and president's family
I
insider
thought
trading,
about that, dude. I thought about that for real.
which I
I was
think
like,
should
we'll start
also
with
be
you.
included. And it should be like it should be any of these people at the top of the government, Congress, or whatever. Well, you want to know what? That ain't happening. You know what I mean? He just wanted to get a rise. He just
It was
wanted
a
to make
good
his
soundbite.
Nancy Pelosi
Yeah.
joke. Oh, but
Mhm.
Nancy Pelosi made a lot of money. Like this.
It was a good joke. It was a good
This
joke.
dude's
I
made.
was laughing.
Yeah, I mean, she's notorious, but
He's funny. Whatever you
he's
say, that
made
man is funny.
billions off this Bitcoin nonsense. Like,
Oh yeah,
and
straight
like
corruption.
he's getting like hotel deals in other countries. I mean,
Mm-hmm. You're right.
he's a. I mean, it's a clown
Gaza.
show, and yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, make fun of Nancy. She's terrible, but like he's doing the exact same
Nasty.
thing to. I don't want to see the high and mighty shit, but it's not going to happen. Like they're not going to do the insider trading thing. That's why they get elected, is so they can get rich. You know, these are people that do this type of stuff.
God, I hate that.
Same.
I hate
I'm
that.
loving,
I really can't stand that it's become that. It should be about being a public servant, and I can't seem to find anyone that's still in it for that exact
Thomas
reason.
Massey and Ro Khanna.
Yeah,
Get
there
that
you go.
bipartisan ticket going. I'm like, that's
I do
nah.
like that, yeah.
God.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene was one of them too. But
Look
she was
her,
just
yeah,
right
she's.
I appreciate what she's been saying. Honestly, even
I mean,
Boba's
she
had
had to
some
stand up
moments
for
of
women.
sanity. Yeah.
Yep.
John, I
Let's
got,
do
I got,
Epstein.
I got
Let's do
time.
Epstein.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me just set up this Epstein real quick, and then we don't have a lot of time, but we each go around once and say we have a second. Epstein document dump, whatever. They've been going through it. There's like 50 pages missing from what they released, and then they're basically saying like these should have been released. There's an argument. I think they eventually will be released. It pertains to a young woman older than me, that at the time in 1983 she was 13 years old. She told the FBI that Epstein introduced her to Trump. Trump forced her head to his exposed penis. She bit the penis. He punched her, and then that was that. Apparently, there were 4 FBI interviews of this woman, who is a grown woman now, which it's like, why would the FBI interview her so many times if there wasn't like something there? There's some other stuff, but that's what people have latched onto. Everybody's been looking for smoking gun on Trump with the Epstein stuff. Everybody know he was palling around with this guy.
Mhm.
No, he wasn't.
Whatever.
Whatever.
We know he was
Whatever.
palling around. They were palling around.
And you're telling me that for the last 4 years that the Biden administration of the most corrupt people didn't go in there and search to find Donald Trump in there and release those documents like
It was sealed
Russiagate?
by the Supreme
like
Court. It was sealed by the Supreme
FISA-gate?
Court
Oh.
until Donald Trump
The
was
Supreme Court
reelected.
had somebody that was like, oh my God, you know what they're going to pass in the next couple hours? There's leakers everywhere. There's leakers everywhere.
Sure, there's leakers, but I'm just
No,
saying the documents
no, not
themselves
Biden.
they were not unsealed until Trump was reelected.
Can I respond to Marie real quick?
Yeah.
Marie.
And then there's
okay,
50
why,
pages
like,
out of
okay,
millions. 50
Marie.
pages. We need those 50. There's
Marie,
millions,
please.
but we need those 50.
The smoking gun is going to be somewhere. All right, Marie, can I just Matt said this last weekend. You're saying it, this whole like, why didn't Biden get these documents? The reason why Biden didn't get them is 1, they already thought Trump was finished, and 2, because they don't want to open up the can of worms, because there's a lot of Democrats in there. Bill Clinton's in there, and they don't want to hurt these billionaires. The Democrats are cuts for the billionaires, and so these billionaires are calling up the
So are
Democrats.
the Republicans.
And they're both, but like they didn't think that they needed it, and so they went with just all these little
No, not Biden.
real estate
No.
things.
If there was any proof in any type of iota of an inkling,
Sure, I mean that's your opinion.
it
but
would
that's
be out
not,
there.
like,
It would be out
that's
there.
not
No,
for sure.
they have been trying to destroy Donald Trump since 2015
And
when he
without
said he was going to
destroying
run.
themselves, without lighting themselves on fire. There's a
Valid.
lot
Because
of
they're
Democrats that are
deflecting
going
and
to
they
get lit on fire.
scapegoat and they project and they're doing the things that they're pointing the fingers at others saying you're doing when they know damn well, Letitia James, that they're actually doing the shit. Okay? That's why they're
Okay.
pointing the finger going, come on, you have to see reality for what it is, guys.
Okay.
If there
These
was-
50
if Trump put
pages-
in those records,
There's 50 pages that exist. We know they exist. Okay, they
Yeah,
were not
we
released.
have to tell
Trump
them
is
there.
in them. Like, are
Yeah,
you
if
saying
you
they
need
don't
John
exist?
Roberts
Are
in
you
there.
saying it's not true? What are you saying?
oh no, if the 50 pages are missing, what are those 50 pages that are missing? Who's to say that those 50 pages were not created from 2021 until 2024? Who's to say? Those, replaced. Well, you've never gone into a court record and said, oh, you know what? We're not going to keep this one here. We're actually going to hide that. Okay. We don't want anyone to see that. Okay. I
The
have
ones that are missing, though, were of
because
a
of a lie.
credible record, but the
They're
FBI had already
fabricated.
determined that those were credible reports against Donald Trump. They were released by the DOJ. Everything was released, and then they took it all down and then released it, but with parts missing. So there were plenty of reporters who had downloaded like the full 2 million pages and are still scrubbing through it. But I mean, that's how we learned about this thing about the then 13-year-old, and the oral sex and biting his penis and then giggling about it. I mean,
She was proven to
makes me
be
so.
a mental.
We don't even know who she is.
No, she was. Is this the same person who was
Let's hear-
mentally
honestly,
unstable?
let's
She was
hear from this
interviewed,
woman.
4 times.
Yeah, I'd love for
Let's hear from her.
testimony.
Please.
Yeah.
I want testimony on this.
Yeah, we're on the show.
But we can't have
Oh, is she a
testimony of,
veteran? I mean, maybe she was in the Navy. I don't know.
Virginia Guthrie. Can't have her testimony anymore because she's dead.
Oh
you
yeah,
know, but
right.
Bill and Hillary,
She's
they can
dead?
ignore. Yeah, they can put Steve Bannon in jail. They can put General Flynn in
This
jail.
woman's. Are we saying this woman's dead? I did not know that.
Virginia Guthrie.
No,
Virginia
that
Guthrie.
other
I'm not
one.
talking about her. I'm talking about this woman with Trump dick in her mouth.
Yeah,
That's the one
That's
who
a
could
nasty
actually
visual.
come out and prove. That's the one who could actually come out and prove that, the Clintons.
does she have a dress with a spot on it, a Lewinsky dress that she kept?
Right? Right?
If this woman's alive,
Nice
like
congrats.
it would be nice to hear from her if she's
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah,
All right,
it would be.
Shane, are you ready to go?
Yeah, guilty or not, true or not, nothing would really be surprising out of all this revelation. And I'm a little surprised that people are surprised. Like, it's old, rich dudes trying to get with young chicks. What
Yep.
else is new? Right? That's been going on for
Bohemian
thousands
Grove.
of years. Just because it's the billionaires doing it and they get someone to honeypot them and traffic all the hot chicks from wherever Eastern Europe to there. Okay, yeah, that's bad. And that's nothing new. Right? So is, killing people and all that stuff, but shit still happens. Right? So, like,
Wasn't Hunter doing this? Isn't this on Hunter's laptop?
all these billionaires had their dicks in these young chicks' mouths, and you're like, oh, that's terrible. Like, yeah, it's terrible, but like, are we surprised? Like, okay, yeah, they're all fucking guilty. They're all old men who like young chicks. Got it.
Well,
It
do
is what
you
it
want
is,
the
like-
president to be one of these guys? Shane?
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't, like, it is
Doesn't
what
matter.
it
Like
is.
Bill
Doesn't
Clinton or
matter.
Obama?
No, it does. No, John, don't take that context out of there. You're surprised that an old 70-year-old billionaire got hooked up with a young chick and is trying to sweep it under the carpet. Oh no, what a
Probably 40.
revelation.
He's probably in his
And he's
40s.
obviously, he's probably guilty as a motherfucker, right? All of them,
Yeah.
right?
He was probably
Okay,
our age.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
right now.
right. And they're still over in the Middle East
He was
wifing up 13-year-olds on the reg, right? You think the young age happens over here, which it still does. Try meeting the rest of the world with 13. They're like, oh, that's a grown woman over there. So I'm like, I'm not saying it's okay, right? By any means. I'm just saying, like, why are we shocked? And oh no, like, yeah, it is.
We have cultural norms. All right.
Yeah, we have cultural norms, but it also goes back thousands of years, John. Men are still going to be men, no matter what. Oligarchs are still going to oligarch, right?
Early 1980s, he was probably in his mid 40s.
he was 46 when this happened. Yeah, he was
He's
46.
roughly our age now.
Millionaire, he's 100 millionaire, possibly a billionaire, and they're like, yo, here's this young chick. It's 1980s, no internet, no social media, no one will ever find out, ever. I'm not excusing it, right? I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying, like, yeah, okay, that's what it is. That's how it was back in the day, and it will still be moving forward. They're just going to do better hiding it and no photos.
Okay.
The photos
yes,
are
that
there.
was how
There
it
were
was.
videos. There were video cameras in every single room of every single place that Epstein had. Video cameras. Where's the video?
Not
The
in
FBI has it.
1983.
So-
This is 1983.
We have video
I still have
cameras.
a
right?
honeypot operation going.
People who got money back in 1980 had video cameras.
He was bribing them. Yeah, he was bribing
Yeah,
other
the Mossad.
billionaires.
There's CIA. They're all.
They're all in it. Yeah, they're all trying to
We're not
capture each
bribing,
other.
Yep.
All right.
Secret Service
Blackmailing,
agents
blackmailing.
down
Excuse
there.
me, not black.
Lobbying
blackmailing.
now. It's the new-
Lobbying, yeah.
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 Well, yeah.
Money
It's
laundering,
legalized,
blackmailing.
corruption.
But nothing ever happens to these people who destroy these people who are used for these purposes, used, abused, killed. I mean, we need to be looking for the graves of the many people who have disappeared from Little St. James Island and the surrounding island that's owned by Biden's brother, James. And yeah, it goes deep. Disney World. It's very deep. It's very scary. And
For politics' sakes, I think if we sum up here, there's 50 pages out there that we're probably going to get to see at some point. and there's a woman out there who was 13 in
Not the
1980.
most important shit in
So
there,
she was
though.
born
That's
in
not the most.
70. So a woman who was
John,
born in 1970, how old is she now? She's like 50,
54,
mid
55.
50s. Yeah, she's
I
mid
am
50s.
71.
71. All right, so she's Marie's
Guys,
age. So
those
there's
50 pages aren't shit compared to the other millions of pages and the women who were used by our government to blackmail people who are politicians or Hollywood individuals, people who have freaking money. The human beings are used, set up so that they can be killed, murdered, slaughtered, fucked, whatever the fuck it is, raped, gang raped, whatever. These people are being used just to get blackmail so that you can say, oh, I got shit on you, motherfucker. What are you gonna do? You fucked a 12-year-old. What are you gonna do? What about the 12-year-old? What about that 12-year-old? Is that 12-year-old still even alive? That's the most disgusting part, that our government would allow something like a 12-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-month-old child. The babies are being eaten, John. It is very real. And there is so much more important in those millions of pages than the 50 fucking pages that are missing that might show that Trump went like this with somebody's head. Really. There's something, it's so much bigger than that. And if that's what everyone's focus is on, is did Trump ever get oral sex from a 12-year-old? Good Lord, did you when you were 12? If you didn't, you were probably missing out. Come on, we're all human beings as well. Really? You're telling me
All
that you
right.
never said, like, grab him by the dick or grab him by the pussy or
I never said grab him by the dick.
you were a ranger. You telling me you didn't teabag or get teabagged? Come on, seriously, for
As the
real.
gay guy now, I'm
There were
interested.
a lot of dicks. A lot of dicks.
It's disgusting to me that people are more concerned about what can we fucking find on Trump than they are about the 6-month-old child that's getting eaten by George Herbert Walker Bush.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it's always
Read
an H
about it.
name. They're eating the
Yeah.
babies.
Are there recipes for that?
Robin.
Are you eating babies, Hunyon? You and
No,
or what do you have
Only
for
with
dinner,
don't eat
Marie?
babies.
aggression. My cuteness aggression, yes.
All right, I got something to say. They don't seem to give a shit about the little girls and the females that were victimized. So maybe they'll give a shit about some of the men, because there were young boys who were trafficked also. Kyron Horman, right here, hasn't been seen since 2010. Is mentioned in the Epstein Files. Maybe they'll give a fucking shit about the boys, because they don't seem to care at all about the girls who were sex trafficked and killed, or their bodies are still missing to this day. But I also want to say that I'm really irritated that we can get a royal taken down by the Epstein Files that were supposedly a Democrat hoax, but he's been taken down. There's other people, men falling of prominence all around the world. But here in the United States, I don't see any men being held to account. I see Ghislaine Maxwell in a minimum security prison right now, and I see them trotting out Hillary Rodham Clinton as the first person that they want to hear from. It doesn't make any sense. Bring the men that are named in these files. I want to hear from them. Don't have women answering for the crimes of men. I want to hear from the fucking men and hold them to account. These men committed crimes against mostly women, but it's bullshit that we're expecting women to answer about the crimes of men. That's my grief.
All right, thank you very much. So we're out of time. Let's just do one last, say what you want to say or say goodbye or whatever. Let's start with Shane real quick.
I know there's a lot going on with Iran and China and just a lot of things popping off around the world. But for those who are around the United States, I'm a conservative who lives in D.C. I lived downtown D.C. for the past 15 years with my wife, my son, and my dog. Things are fine. All right, the city's great. The country is great. The majority of the stuff that you don't see on TV is just neighborlies being very neighborly. Everyone being very polite, being very simple. Yes, we did have crime issues that we even railed against. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff we want to iron out. But overall, the United States, I think, especially here in DC, we're doing wonderful. 80% of Americans agree on 80% of the things. It's the 10% on the left and right that are the loudest and the most violent, and we need to hold them to account. But for everyone out there, for everyone here, guys, we love you. And thank you guys for staying awesome and being great Americans.
I think I said everything that I need to say. No, there's still more in there boiling and roiling. Thank you for having me. Sorry, I have a lot to vent about because no one else really wants to listen to me and my conspiracy theories. Thanks for having me, and just keep praying for the world and for Iran, especially at this time.
We're praying for Iran. All right. Okay, Robin, you got to finish up here.
Yeah. I really like what Shane had to say. 80% of Americans really do agree on most of these issues. It's always the people that are to the far left fringe or the far right fringe that make the media headlines for outlandish things they say. And then you have to watch out because the media will absolutely rage bait you with that and tell you that this is what all of Republicans think. This is what all Democrats think, but it's really not true. There are sane people. The majority of the country has not lost their collective minds. Hopefully, we really are more united on most of the issues than I think than we realize, particularly things like child sex trafficking, for example. Don't be discouraged out there. Still try to look at your neighbor as your neighbor, not as the enemy, because maybe they're a different political party than you. But do pray for Iran.
Okay, we're praying for Iran. All right, great show. Thank you guys. I think it went really well.
Spicy.
Hopefully, have you guys soon. We'll mix you up with some other friends. And that was Real Veteran News 52. Have a good day. Pray for Iran.
Yeah.
Thanks all.